Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we're going to do some more writing feedback. We are back to some more writing, IELTS writing academic essay task 2. We start as always by reading the question, understanding the question, really paying attention to the question because we know so many candidates lose points from not dealing with the requirements of the task. We also want to think about the structure. So whenever we read the essay question, we want to start getting ideas about how we're going to structure this stuff. So let's take a look at this question. Some people saying that, some people saying that this is a grammatical mistake. Some people say that. So immediately I'm surprised that the candidate has chosen not a real question, but a fake question. Because, you know, if the quality of the question is bad, sometimes that can negatively affect your writing. Really, the question has to be a real question. You know, I can make up an IELTS Task 2 question, absolutely no problem. There are lots of teachers that can make up these IELTS Task 2 questions that are workable, no problem. Unfortunately, there are lots of these questions online that just are a bit odd. But anyway, let's have a look. Some people saying that the government should strictly control the supply of fresh water as the resources are limited. Okay, full stop. While others think we can use as much... Okay. While others think we can use as much as water as we want. Yeah, the question doesn't work. It should be, I guess, while others think we should be allowed to use as much water as we want. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Okay, so the grammar in the question is odd, the wording is odd, but I guess the meaning is understandable. One side is the government should strictly control the supply of fresh water. The other side says people should be free and they should be allowed to use as much water as they want. It's still an odd question, but okay. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. So it's a both sides essay. Cool. So thinking about the structure here, what might we expect from the structure? 4 paragraphs, introduction, just giving some background information on the subject. The subject here is the supply of fresh water, or more generally, broader, water. So some background information about how we in 2024 use water, some reference to the question about, you know, there's this divide in opinion where there's a question over how free people should be to use this water, whether it should be up to governments or up to individuals to decide. So some reference to that question. I also want to see a thesis statement, just some statement saying, like in this essay, I will explore both of these points of view. And I also want to know what the candidate's opinion is here. I really think for a discuss both sides, you know, 10 years ago, I would have said, you don't need to put your opinion in the introduction, you can save it for the conclusion. But it certainly seems nowadays that the guidance says, you know, put your position in the introduction. So, okay, I'm on that team now. So I want to see what the candidate's opinion is in the introduction. I don't need to know why the candidate believes what they believe, but I want to know which side the candidate leans to, which side the candidate is on mostly. Body paragraph 1 then, or paragraph 2, you'll talk about reasons why some people think the government should control the supply of water. Body paragraph 2, which is paragraph 3, reasons why some people believe that individuals should be free to choose how much water they use. And then in the conclusion, a brief summary of those points, and then state your position and the reasons why you are convinced by one side, not the other side. Pretty straightforward, two-sided essay, quite easy. Okay, let's see if that's what we get from our candidate. So first of all, I want to check the balance. Are there 4 paragraphs? Yes, yes, yes. Cool. 4 paragraphs. The introduction and the conclusion should be shorter than the body paragraphs. That seems to be the case. How many words is this? It looks like about 300. Let's have a look. 305. Okay, cool. I always think, 300 words is the ceiling, but okay, 305 words, no problems at all. So let's have a look at the words that the candidate has used. So there are different perspectives, not prospectives, but perspectives, not prospectives, but perspectives. There are different perspectives on whether the government or governments, whether government should control freshwater. I like this use of control instead of regulate. Oh, no, they have control in the question. So, okay. Control freshwater due to the limitations of the resources. Okay, limited, change into limitations. So the candidate, it's a clear strategy here of just paraphrasing this information. Okay. Or if people are able to. And again, this is a problem because now the candidate is paraphrasing the wording in the question, but the wording in the question is wrong. It is not about others think we can use as much water. It is others think that we should be allowed to or should be able to. So there is, that small problem. Okay. To utilize, again, candidate is just, directly finding a synonym, utilize as much as they want. Okay. So, it's a very mechanical paraphrase of this information, but okay, I understand there's a lot of guidance out there that says that that's what you should do. Just paraphrase word for word the wording in the question. I think some background information is nice to have, but okay. Okay, while people should be independent using fresh water due to having importance in daily lives, I don't know what that means. They should be independent using fresh water due to having importance in daily lives. I don't know what that means. I could reread it and try to understand. Let's do that. Should be independent. Maybe should, have the freedom to use as much water as they need because water is very important. Maybe that's what the candidate is saying, but the wording is strange. Comma, good. I firmly believe, nice, fine. I firmly believe that the government should control the supply of fresh water since the resources are limited. Okay, let's put that in blue. Notice this blue language. The government should control the supply of fresh water since the resources are limited, and the government should strictly control the supply of fresh water as the resources are limited. Bad idea. It won't kill your score, but it's a very, very bad idea just to copy exactly the wording that's in the question. Don't do that. You have to use your language, not the language here. We often find that with lower level learners. Yeah, it's a sign. For me, it's a red flag that, candidate lacks language. But okay, let's see how the candidate continues. So now getting to body paragraph 1, at least we get to see the candidate's position. We get an attempt at a paraphrase of the question. So far we're around about that maybe 6.0 mark, maybe. Now I want to see in body paragraph 1 reasons why some people believe that the government should control the supply of fresh water. Let's see if we get that. On the one hand, fresh water is important part. So part is a singular countable noun. We need some pre-modifier, not just the adjective, but is an important part. Fresh water is an important part of our, sorry, I should make that red. An important part of our life and certainly Okay, on the one hand, fresh water is important part of our life, and let's forget about this and just read it with fresh water is. On the other hand, fresh water is certainly impossible to consider a single day without that. So this fresh water is certainly impossible to consider a day without that. No, that doesn't work. Is an important part of our life? Yes. And maybe it is impossible to consider. But this certainly impossible doesn't link with fresh water is, and it needs to link. So that's a problem. Okay, semicolon, however, comma, good punctuation. However, many believe. Okay, but you're talking now about many believe. You're again balancing. On the one hand, fresh water is important. However, many people believe this is not the part to balance, right? This is your body paragraph. You want to spend all of your body paragraph explaining one of the sides. We don't want to balance in the body paragraph. Body paragraph one side, body paragraph two, the other side. You are balancing here. You've already balanced here. You're balancing again here, and you don't want to do that. Many believe using fresh water has no limitations. Using fresh water has no limitations it doesn't really make sense. Using fresh water has no limitations. That doesn't make sense as a sentence, and it's also not connected to the question. But the question is strange, so fair enough. Therefore, people use it sometimes unnecessarily. Okay, start with that, right? Maybe. If that's the reason why governments should control it, if you think that people waste water, start with that. One reason why people believe governments should control how much fresh water we use is that many people waste water. Great. We have a topic sentence. Now build from there. So, okay. For example, in many countries, it is been thought. It is been. I don't know what this grammar is. It is been. No idea. It is been. Looks like, I don't know. I don't know. It looks like a kind of a passive construction. Maybe it is thought that, but I don't know. It is been thought. No idea what that grammar is. It is been thought that the Earth is full of 70% of water and 30% land. The Earth is full of 70% water and 30% land. Okay, I kind of understand what you mean, but okay, let's keep going. As a result, considered this fact. Okay, you mean consider this fact, maybe. And also, I don't like the use of imperatives, like commands in academic writing. Consider this fact. That's like what we use in articles. When we write articles or blog posts, we speak directly to the reader. Maybe we ask them questions. Maybe we use this imperative. We tell them, think about this. We don't use that in academic writing. People start believing that using fresh water, one word as an adjective, fine, but not as a noun, using fresh water, has no boundary. No boundaries, maybe? Therefore, misspelt. It is argued that individuals may use fresh water as much. Yeah, so this paragraph is just lacking in any argument, and it's really important in the body paragraph to really have an argument. So the candidate here is saying that people have mistaken beliefs about fresh water, and so they waste it. That's the candidate, that's the central argument in the paragraph. So that central argument, I can infer it, I can kind of work out if I try. If I think, if I put this together, probably that's what the candidate is trying to say. But the candidate doesn't achieve success with his writing here. I have to kind of work that out myself. So there isn't a clear position, but there is what we call underlying coherence. Okay. So that's the argument for why we should control, why governments should control water, I guess. Now we should get the argument for why people should be free to choose. On the other hand, while the Earth is filled with 70% of water, okay, again, we're just repeating this statistic. Certainly, I don't think anybody believes that the Earth is 70% fresh water. I don't think anyone believes that, do they? Okay, and 30% of land. Overusing water can have significant problems. Okay, so you're saying that when we overuse water, there are problems. That's not what this essay wants you to do. This essay wants you to discuss both sides. Why do some people believe that governments should strictly control the supply of fresh water? One paragraph. Why do other people believe that we should be allowed to use as much as we want? Another body paragraph. You don't have that. Okay. Firstly, the population of the globe is increasing constantly. Okay. If people overuse resources like fresh water, it should be 2 words, fresh water. I know. Oh yeah, here's fresh water, 2 words. As an adjective, freshwater fish, for example, it can be 1 word. Anyway, like freshwater. If people overuse resources like freshwater, in a few decades, should be a few decades, candidate really struggles with articles, that's normal. In a few decades, this resource will run out. As a result, people might face massive issues. I don't like this. Saying massive issues and then not giving details. Massive also feels a little bit informal. They could face massive issues. It's an academic piece of writing. You have to say what those issues are. And then you have comma, therefore. So there's a problem with punctuation there. Should be full stop. Therefore, in order to prevent happening this issue in the real. In order to prevent this issue from happening in reality, in real life, maybe, to prevent happening this issue. Word order is wrong. Yeah. In real is just, it's a wrong prepositional phrase. Government, just one government? If so, the government. If not, then governments should strictly handle this issue. Okay, but your body paragraph 1 says governments should handle the issue, and now your body paragraph 2 says that governments should handle this issue. So this isn't a balanced essay. Governments should strictly handle this issue by spreading message. What does it mean by spreading message? Spreading what message? And taking actions. Which actions? So we have massive issues, spreading message, taking actions, but we don't get details. But let's see. For example, in many countries in the world, why do we need this in the world? We know many countries are already in the world. We don't need this in the world, really. Already have taken. No, many countries in the world have already taken, but not in many countries. So many countries could be a subject. In many countries isn't a subject. It's a prepositional phrase. So, yeah, again, we have problems. I guess we just remove this. Many countries have already taken. So, problem with word order here, have already taken certain measures. Again, certain measures, we don't get details, just certain measures. Details would be nice. And that makes me think maybe the candidate is lacking in vocabulary, maybe, to spread awareness among people and make them, not making them, make them, I guess them as people, make them educated and realize the importance of having fresh water. Therefore, I believe that protecting the upcoming generations, taking measures crucial undoubtedly. Yeah, this is just not English sentence structure. I believe that, yes, protecting the upcoming generations. So I believe that. Now we need a new clause. Protecting the upcoming generations, maybe, and taking measures is crucial or is undoubtedly crucial. Google suggests that too. But yeah, that's just basic sentence stuff. So candidate isn't able to, even produce a sentence there. I mean, there is this sentence. I believe that. Great. But now we want this new clause. Yeah, and it just doesn't come. Okay, to conclude, although the planet has 70% of water, again, candidate is obsessed with this statistic of 70% of water, okay, as a natural resources, resources. So, means one. We can't use it with plural nouns. So we have, although the planet has 70% water of natural resources, however, we don't use although and however. Choose one. Although the planet has 70% of water as a natural resource, it can run out in a few decades. Or, to conclude, the planet has 70% of water as a natural resource, full stop, however, comma, it can run out. So you can't use although and however together like this. Doesn't work. Sorry. It can run out in a few decades. as populations are growing. Therefore, governments or the government should strictly control the overusing of natural resources. Natural resources in general or just water? Topic of the essay, of course, is water. So let's have a look at this. Task response. I'm going to go with the 5. So I'm kind of informed about the central ideas, but there's really no development of those ideas. There's a real lack of detail there. Coherence and cohesion. Oh, let's just write CC. I'll give the 6 for this. It is clear that there's a 4-paragraph structure. The candidate is kind of giving an introduction, some body paragraphs, a conclusion. Fine. The candidate does try to use a range of connectives, therefore, however, sometimes the general coherence is weird. I don't see how certain points are really connected to other certain points. So there is that problem with the general coherence. But with the specific language-based coherence stuff, discourse markers or connectives, things like this, signposting language, candidate has them. So good structure, good use of connectives, some strange use, and then there are just some problems with coherence of main ideas. So lexical resource, I'm gonna go with 6 for lexical resource 2. There are nice bits of language, certain measures, spreading the message should be used, fine, taking actions, that's good. Massive issues is a bit informal, but okay. Let's have a look at something else. People use it sometimes unnecessarily. So, there is some topic-specific language here. I think the candidate does maybe lack the vocab to go into greater detail. But I think there is some nice vocab there. And GRA has to be a 5. Just too many mistakes. There are mistakes everywhere. Some mistakes in punctuation. So many mistakes with articles, so many mistakes with singular nouns versus plural nouns, so many mistakes that prevent, that make the reader have to read twice. As a result, considered this fact, people start believing that using fresh water has no boundary. So there are many cases where the grammar just really creates confusion in the reader. And for that reason, I'm awarding a 5 for this. So overall, I'm awarding a score of 5.5. Certainly, if an examiner gave this a 4 for task response, I wouldn't be surprised. If an examiner gave this 5 for coherence and cohesion, I wouldn't be surprised. So for me, the impression mark I get is that it's a score of 5.0, but looking at the individual criteria, I look at it and think there's probably enough for a 5.5 there, putting the candidate at the lower end of upper intermediate. Advice I would give to the candidate, the major, I really want to put this task response down to 4. Let me just think about that. No, I'll keep it at 5. I guess it doesn't make any difference, but please keep in mind, dear candidate, that this task response could certainly fall to 5. And that's because first bit of advice, choose real IELTS questions or IELTS questions that have been created by reliable sources, because this one isn't a real question and it has all sorts of mistakes in there. Secondly, you just have to understand what it means to discuss both sides and give your opinion, because you don't, you know that we should use a 4-body paragraph. Sorry, you know that we should use a 4-paragraph structure, but you don't know what really should be in the body paragraph. So I don't know. Check IELTS Liz, IELTS Jackie. If you have a teacher, do that. Check with some IELTS experts. Be very careful where you get your advice from, because there's a lot of very, very bad advice. I think I have a video on this channel where I write a discuss both sides essay. So, feel free to check out that video. I think it will help you a lot because it seems clear to me that you don't know what a discuss both sides essay should be. And that's going to be a critical problem. The other things with grammar, I would recommend taking fewer risks with grammar. It's quite clear that you're taking quite a lot of risks with grammar, and that's leading to all kinds of mistakes. I definitely think you have to clean up. Don't try to make your grammar more complex. Don't try to use more, C1 grammar. You have mistakes with elementary and pre-intermediate grammar, and you have to fix those. Sentences like it is been thought, they are just so strange. Yeah, so really fix that fundamental basic grammar. And, who knows, maybe you could get to that 6.0, 6.5. I think if you take IELTS in the next 3 months, I don't think you have any chance of getting a 7. I really don't think your writing is there. But I think you could push for a 6.0, 6.5, perhaps. Yeah, so I think you are probably an upper intermediate student, and I think your ceiling is probably 6.5. But for me, this writing is between 5.0 and 5.5, but I'm going to stick with my score of 5.5. Okay. So I hope you found that video useful. If you have any questions or comments about how I mark this, then please do let me know in the comments section below. And also, if you would like me to check your IELTS writing, or if you'd like to have a free IELTS practice speaking test with feedback, then you can request this on my Telegram channel. A link to the Telegram channel is given in the description. But I will leave it there for now. Have a wonderful evening and see you all soon. Bye-bye.